Hi there, I'm Paul Mitchell, leadership coach, author and founder of The Human Enterprise. Welcome to Mentoring with Mitch, where we answer your questions about leadership in all aspects of life, at home, in your organisation and in your community. So let's have a look at today's question. Today's question comes from a GM in a division of a fast-moving consumer goods company. In fact, a new GM, a recently appointed GM. I'm about to have my first town hall. A town hall is a meeting where virtually all the team is involved, as it says here, with the whole team. I've been here for several months now, doing lots of one-on-ones, so most people know me, and I've had conversations with most people. Do you still think it's worthwhile to do a quick intro of my background or any other suggestions, or will it come across as over the top? It's an interesting one. It's always a balance in any leadership role between what I call hubris and humility. You need to be humble, but you also need to have a little bit of ego. In fact, we often get people in our workshops to go like this. Just go like that, as if you're nurturing something. Excellent. Now just put it to one side. That's your ego. So when you're new to a role, you need to balance having a bit of ego and being out there with humility, or you'll get shot down pretty quickly. So yes, I think it's vital, absolutely imperative for you to talk a bit about yourself. But here's the key though, to talk about it through the lens of how will it serve other people. If you're just up there talking about, look at me, look at me, look at me, that's not appropriate. It won't go down very well, and people will just talk about all she is interested in is themselves. So what do you do? Well, I want to call upon the work, the research of Professors Goffey and Jones from London Business School, from a program called Why Should Anyone Be Led by You? I've talked about the program several times before, but I think it gives us a great little way of positioning yourself when you're new to a company, of branding yourself when you're new to a company. And what their research says, and I totally believe with it, you either control that brand yourself or people will make it up. You don't want people making up stories about your background. So here's the way you control it. For you to blossom, you need to blossom within a vase. I know it's a mnemonic. Some people don't like mnemonics, but it's just an easy way of remembering a few things. So do the presentation and suggest you talk about 4 things: your values, your allowable weaknesses, your strengths, and your experience. How do you do that in the service of others? Well, you might want to talk about, here's a value that's really important for me. I'm customer obsessed. So when I speak with you, I'll probably be always asking the question, how does this affect our customer? I'm a huge one for transparency. So please, my expectation would be, don't hold stuff back from me. Let me know the good news, the bad news, and the even worse news. So transparency, huge value. In other words, you're talking about your values, but not just like, look at my values. You're talking about them to help people get clearer on your expectations. The next is allowable weaknesses. This is where this is balance of hubris and humility. What are some allowable weaknesses? It could be, you know what, I'm new to this business or new to this industry, so please bear with me. There's a lot for me to learn. That's an allowable weakness at that time. It could be a long-term allowable weakness. I know in my team, I tend to run after bright, shiny objects a lot. I'm onto this next, but oh, that's a great service we could offer, or we could do that. And I'll let the team know that, and they keep me on track. So the great thing about allowable weaknesses is it actually gets people involved by helping you in terms of information, by helping you, in my case, get back on track. So values, allowable weaknesses. The next is strengths. It's okay to talk about your strengths. You have a strength in strategic planning. You have a strength in networking. You have a strength in presentation techniques. And if you need to look at strategy, or you're wondering about networking, or you're wondering about presentation techniques, please give me a call. Come and see me. I'll help you with that. Again, you're talking about yourself and in the service of others. And the final one is your experience. And I really push very, very strongly that you talk about your experience out of work. You talk about your ups and you talk about your downs. And you say to the group of people that you're talking with, hey, we all have ups, we all have downs, and we can all learn from them. I want to talk about some of my ups and some of my downs, and do it as a story. Tell some stories about best things that happened to you, greatest mentor you ever had, biggest cock up you ever had, or whatever. And so give them a sense of your experience and give them that sense through story. What does this do? It lets everyone know that story is important to you, and it also lets them know that you're human and you're prepared to talk about the ups and the downs. In that way, you're going to create a much more inclusive, much more open, much more transparent environment, culture, space. So, hope that helps. Should you do the presentation? Absolutely. Should you talk about yourself? Absolutely. And talk about you in the service of others. Values, allowable weaknesses, strengths, and experience, particularly personal experience. Hope that helps. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope that's helped, or at least given you a couple of first steps. And if you have questions about leadership, leadership at home, leadership at work, or leadership in your community, we would love to hear from you. Please visit mentoringwithmitch.com and we'll get through as many questions as we can. And also subscribe so you make sure you get to hear every episode. And importantly, if you've got friends or colleagues or even family that you think would benefit from hearing some of these answers or some mentoring with Mitch, please make sure you share with them as well. Until next time, find the passion, develop the skills, make the numbers, and make a difference.